Welcome to Transformers Lore. When we left off, Ratchet managed to save the Autobots from the Decepticons, and Shockwave took over GB Blackrock's various installations. It has been 3 weeks since Megatron went missing. It's 10 a.m. at Black Rock Motor Speedway on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon. General Capshaw meets with GB Blackrock, the owner of Blackrock Enterprises, to discuss Blackrock's plan to unveil a weapon to use against the robots that have been taking over his facilities. The United States is concerned that the robots belong to a communist nation and that going to war with the robots will set the Cold War on fire. They ask Blackrock to keep the knowledge of the existence of the Transformers on the down low, and that's an order that Blackrock refuses. Blackrock then visits the Blackrock Chronic Care Institute and checks up on his hospitalized employee, Josie Beller. He finds out that Josie Beller is working on a levitation system and wants to get even with the robots. Blackrock leaves the hospital, hoping Beller will give up on her delusions of revenge. At the Ark, the Autobots are mostly fully repaired. The exceptions include Optimus Prime, who remains without a head, and Sunstreaker, who's been ripped in half. Ratchet doesn't know if he'll be operational ever again. The Autobots hear GB Blackrock on the radio announcing that he will unveil his anti-robot weapon tomorrow. Ratchet, who is now commander of the Autobots, makes the Autobot first priority to be rescuing Optimus Prime's head. However, the Autobots are low on fuel. Special Operations Officer Jazz decides to make a deal with GB Blackrock, a deal entailing a trade of fuel from Blackrock in return for Autobot protection of Blackrock's facilities from the Decepticons. Ratchet sends out Jazz with Wheeljack as backup. At Blackrock Aerospace Plant No. 1, the Decepticons find out that Megatron is missing and that the Ark has been taken back by the Autobots. Decepticon morale is at a crippling low. To take their mind off their recent failures, Shockwave allows Starscream and Frenzy to go destroy whatever weapon it is GB Blackrock is preparing. Shockwave then checks up on the 6 brain modules that have been activated by the residual Creation Matrix energies within Optimus Prime. However, Prime knows that the remainder of the Creation Matrix is with Buster Witwicky. At the corporate headquarters of Blackrock Enterprises, Josie Beller arrives at Blackrock's office. She reveals herself as Circuit Breaker. She has outfitted herself with advanced tech that she has developed. With the tech, she is no longer paralyzed and has several abilities like that of flight. She can also affect technology and shoot electric lasers. She has equipped herself to go to war with the robots. However, GB Blackrock orders her to not continue on this path as he doesn't want her to get hurt again. Angry, Circuit Breaker leaves. The next day, GB Blackrock prepares to unveil his secret weapon at the Blackrock Motor Speedway. He runs into Jazz, and Jazz tells Blackrock all about the Autobots, the Decepticons, Cybertron, and the war. Blackrock agrees to give the Autobots fuel in return for Autobot protection from the Decepticons. After the deal is made, Blackrock unveils the anti-robot photonic multi-cannon. However, the weapon fails because Circuit Breaker has broke them. She arrives and tells Blackrock to instead say that he intended to make Circuit Breaker his secret weapon announcement the whole time. At this moment, Starscream and Frenzy attack. Jazz and Wheeljack engage, and Circuit Breaker also fights both sides of Cybertronians. The Decepticons ultimately retreat, and Circuit Breaker comes close to destroying the Autobots. However, Blackrock gets involved. Due to Blackrock's pleading, Circuit Breaker agrees to let the Autobots go, but whatever debt she felt she owed Blackrock is repaid. As she leaves, she says that next time, nothing will stop her. At the aerospace plant, Shockwave's army grows as the human slaves create the bodies of 3 planes, while the brain modules created by Optimus Prime are used to bring life to the Constructicons: Scavenger, Mixmaster, Longhaul, Bonecrusher, Scrapper, and Hook. Shockwave intends to use the Constructicons to create Decepticon bases across the planet. At the Ark, Prowl is giving Blackrock a tour of the ship. Bluestreak and Brawn are working on the ionic fusion drive that will make the Ark space-capable again. Huffer is working on a trans-dimensional radio wave scrambler to contact Cybertron, instead of his given assignment to create a device to spy on the Decepticons. Blackrock mentions that the phones at the aerospace plant are bugged, and that the Autobots can use the phones to spy on the Decepticons. At the aerospace plant, the Decepticons attack the US forces surrounding the base. In the confusion, the Constructicons drive away. Inside, Shockwave reveals his next soldier for his army, the body of Jetfire. In Portland, Sparkplug finally comes home to his garage, where he is thrilled to see that his son is taking care of things. What Buster doesn't tell him is that it's because he has the abilities from the Creation Matrix. At a diner in Idaho, truck driver Bomber Bill arrives. However, Constructicons arrive at the diner and destroy all the cars. Angry, Bomber Bill pursues the Constructicons and joins up with the deployed Autobots that are following the Decepticons. The Constructicons and Soundwave find a deep space radio telescope and refit it into a device to contact Cybertron. The Autobots attack, and the Constructicons reveal that they can combine into Devastator. The Decepticons get the signal out to Cybertron and retreat. Bomber Bill also goes home. As the Autobots learn that the Decepticons have discovered that Optimus Prime no longer has the Creation Matrix and are preparing to kill him, Ratchet transfers command to Prowl. Shockwave reads the mind of Rumble and finds out that Buster snuck by him when he stood guard at the Ark. The Autobots overhear this and send Bumblebee and Bluestreak to save Buster from the coming Decepticons. Around this time, Colonel Hawthorne gets a message from Shockwave to pull out 12 miles from the site within an hour, or else the human slaves will be killed. Shockwave then programs Jetfire to go out and find Buster Witwicky and bring him to the base. Jessie meets with Buster and Sparkplug one day. Jessie and Buster haven't talked since Buster yelled at her. They go out to talk to each other. As they go, Bumblebee arrives and warns Sparkplug that Buster is in danger. Sparkplug tells Bumblebee to leave his family alone, but then goes to find Buster. As he goes, the Autobots stalk him. In the woods, Buster and Jessie apologize to each other before Sparkplug and the Autobots arrive. Just then, Jetfire arrives. As Jetfire is beating the Autobots, Buster reveals that he has powers of the Creation Matrix, as he telepathically rips apart Jetfire. The Autobots then take out Jetfire's brain, and Buster repairs Jetfire, as he flies off to save Optimus Prime. Prowl also leads his Autobot forces to go save Prime as well. As Buster flies Jetfire, the US Air Force intercepts him. Buster makes Jetfire execute evasive maneuvers to escape the Air Force, but Buster passes out in the process. With the loss of Buster, Jetfire reverts to the programming Shockwave gave him, and brings Buster back to base. At the base, the Decepticons have realized that the Autobots are spying on them. Shockwave constructs a fake Optimus Prime head, with the programming to destroy the Autobots, and announces that he will drop Optimus Prime's head in a swamp to execute him. Hearing of this, the Autobots drive away to the nearby swamp. At the swamp, Jetfire drops off the fake head. The Autobots put the head on Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime begins to destroy the Autobots. Soundwave and his forces join the assault, and the Autobots begin to be torn apart. As Jetfire returns to the aerospace plant, Buster Witwicky wakes up and uses the Creation Matrix powers to control Jetfire to fight Shockwave. As Shockwave falls, Jetfire, under Buster's command, grabs the real Optimus Prime head and takes off. The head is brought to the battle at the swamp, and Optimus Prime puts on his real head and begins to beat back the Decepticons. The human slaves escape the aerospace plant. Shockwave leaves the plant in anger and goes to the swamp where he fights Optimus Prime. Optimus throws Shockwave into the swamp, and Shockwave sinks away. Prime returns to the plant to see Buster, and he takes back the Creation Matrix.